The Italians left it behind and the Australians walked right up to it. An M1340 tank of the 3 Battaglione Carry M abandoned during Operation Compass in North Africa 1941, examined by Australian troops after one of the most one-sided campaigns of the entire war. They survived the largest naval battle of the war and ended up here. Men wounded at the Battle of Jutland in 1916 lie aboard a hospital ship, alive after a single engagement that sank 25 vessels and killed over 9,000 sailors in 2 days. 2 men in one photograph, one would drain a treasury and one would drain a continent. King Leopold II of Belgium met Mozaffar ad-Din Shah of Persia in 1873, decades before Leopold's Congo Free State became one of history's most documented atrocities. Long before sunglasses existed, this worked better. An Inuit hunter in Canada's Northwest Territories photographed in 1921 wearing wooden snow goggles, a technology developed centuries earlier to block reflected Arctic glare that could permanently blind an unprotected human eye within days. He survived something that was never supposed to be survived. Robert McGee was scalped as a child by Sioux warriors and lived, photographed in 1890 with the permanent evidence of that encounter mapped across the top of his skull for the rest of his life. They rested while the war was still happening. American GIs photographed on March 25, 1945 taking cover behind an M5 Stuart tank near Germersheim, Germany, just weeks before a conflict that had consumed the world for 6 years finally ran out of road. It has watched Paris from that ledge for centuries and never blinked. Charles Nigre photographed the gargoyle known as L'Estrige at Notre Dame in 1853, one of the earliest and most iconic architectural photographs ever taken, with a city of 4 million spread silently below. 583 people boarded 2 planes that never left the ground. On March 27, 1977, a KLM and a Pan Am Boeing 747 collided on the runway at Tenerife. He ran a camp where half the prisoners died and never spent a day in court. Commander Eugenio Mazzucchetti oversaw Danane concentration camp in Italian Somaliland, where prisoners survived on worm-infested food, worked under 40-degree heat and died at a rate of 51%. He may have been the only black soldier fighting for the Axis on the Eastern Front. Holger Sontag served in the Finnish army as a logistics NCO, facing discrimination before and after the war, and spent his later years working odd jobs and appearing in advertisements. He spent his career hunting endangered animals and died the same way he lived, in the bush next to a broken-down truck. Rian Nord, founder of Pro Hunt Africa, was shot execution style in 2004 by 2 men who pulled up while he was stranded on his way to a hunt. George Custer was 22 years old in this photograph and still had 14 years left before Little Bighorn. Pictured during the Peninsula Campaign in May 1862 with William Jones and Nicholas Bowen, a young officer who had no idea what history was quietly building around him. They had crossed oceans to liberate someone else's village. Indian soldiers of a scout car crew paused to talk with young civilians in San Felice, Italy in 1943, men from the subcontinent fighting under a British flag in a European war that was never really theirs. She called her Harley the key to the whole United States and then proved it. In 1929, Vivian Bales rode 5,000 miles across America in 78 days, becoming the country's first motorcycle cover girl at a time when women were still expected to stay considerably closer to home.